Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about brake setup on the bike. The reason we're going to do this is because we're going to do a lesson on braking. It'll be one of the next videos, but it's a few key things to think about in setting up your brakes. Now obviously different bikes have got different quality brakes. Some are more adjustable than others, so this may not be applicable to everybody. You might not be able to achieve some of this. But the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be brake position. Now a really common thing we see is bikes with their brakes set up quite high on the bikes. And where this is a disadvantage is if you're riding in your ready position and your brakes are up high, then you can see how it turns your wrists back. Now what this does is it either puts a lot of strain on that wrist or it makes you ride back on the bike to take the strain off. So ideally what you want to do is rotate the position of your brakes so that when you're in your ready position, you've got a nice straight line down your arm, down your hand and down to your brake. So hopefully that makes sense and it gives you a bit more comfortable position. This will also have the effect of bringing you forward on the bike a bit and making it easier to maintain that ready position with your arms forward. So that's the first point. And that's really easy to adjust and most people can do that pretty simply. The next point is if you're using hydraulic disc brakes, ideally you want to be using one finger. So with your hand on the grip, you really want one finger in that maximum leverage point on your brake. So that can sometimes mean moving your brakes in a little bit towards the center of the bike, so that when your hand's sitting there, you can see how my hand there is really comfortable just with one finger on that maximum leverage point of the brake. Once again, that's something that most of you should be able to set up reasonably well. The next point, which is a little bit more difficult, is how far the brake comes in before it works. And a simple exercise is if you point your finger and squeeze another one in there, what you'll start to find is really quickly, if you keep your finger pointed, your hand gets really, really sore. Now if you relax that finger and let it turn in a bit, all of a sudden a lot of that pain goes away. So it's a much more comfortable position to maintain. So if you've got your brakes set up where you're reaching out for your brake, then your hand's going to get really, really sore quite quickly. And if the brake works right out on the end of the travel, that also means if you go over a bit of a bump, your brake's going to come on, and that's going to start to make it harder to control. So ideally, you want to have your finger in a relaxed position on the brake, and you want to have a little bit of movement, a little bit of free play there, so that if you're going over bumps, you're not accidentally pulling your brake on. And then what that means is the brake's working in a bit closer and your hand's much more relaxed. So if you've got those adjustments, it's a great idea to have a bit of a fiddle with your brakes and set them up appropriately. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about actually how to use your brakes. Thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next video.